ओम ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहि तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किंच जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीथा मा गुध्र कस्य स्विद्धनम्। कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेत् सतं समाः। एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे। असुरीयानाम ते लोकाः अन्धेन तमसावृताः। तांस्ते प्रत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्महनो जनाः। अनेजदेकमनसो जवीयो नने ननीदत्देव आप्नुवन् पूर्वमश्रद्। तद्धावतोऽन्यान्यत्तेति तिष्ठत् तस्मिन् अपो मातरिश्वा दधाति। So up to this we have seen it. So while discussing in the last class especially that the first two verses introducing the teaching that Ishavashyopanidam sarvam jagat yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena yaktaknena bhujita ma gudra kasya siddhanam. And also the second verse started talking about Pravritti Marga. So in short, Nivritti Marga and Pravritti Marga. Whereas the verse number 3 that we saw that tried to point out the people, those who are too much into karma without knowing the purpose of karma. So to wake them up, so Upanishad used little strong words. And he used this word, most importantly, we use this word called Atmahanaha. So they are the destroyer of themselves, the one who is destroying one's own self, called Atmahanaha. While discussing this thing, also that was being discussed very carefully that look, this Atma, now verse number 4 onwards, comes to the teaching, central teaching. You can say this is called Jnana Yoga. That Atma is something called, you can say, sentient. So being not jada. So why it is not jada, inert? Because any jada vastu has got five, let us say, characteristics or guna that we saw. So one is drishyatvam, second one bhautikatvam, sagunatvam, savikaritvam, and agama painatvam. That which is visible, that which is made up of elements, which has got qualities, and of course goes through modification and keeps coming and going. That means that which is not permanent ityartha. Whereas if anything comes under these five categories, or any category is available, anything is visible, that is called jada, inert. So we come to the conclusion, the body is jada, the mind also is jada. So when the body itself is inert, mind is also inert, how can, with the help of body or mind, I can understand Atma, the self, which is adrishyatvam, abhautikatvam, nirgunatvam, avikaritvam, and agama painatvam. So that's why we try to understand that, look, including Matarishwa, the Hiranyagarbha, is functioning because of whose presence. And that indeed is Atma. So that means Sarva Karana Ityartha. So once I understand that I am the cause of everything, so that means what? Especially Upadana Karanam, not efficient cause, because sometimes I am today efficient, tomorrow my efficiency will go down. So somebody may take over. And that's why, especially in companies, the manager doesn't like the next generation to come up, because how can that fellow be better than me? So even though sometimes, even if also in the family, especially father case, also mother case differently. So father will love the child, especially male child, as long as male child listens to. So the day discovers that male child boy is not listening to me, is more smarter, and grows differently, better than me. So there is some type of intolerance. You understand? Even though father being the cause of child's growth, still cannot tolerate it, because the father highlights the efficient cause aspect, whereas mother does not look at that way. So if the child grows, because child mother thinks, after all, my child is extension of me, so mother looks at more material cause aspect. It's amazing concept, you can see. That's why mother always has got soft corner for the child, but not father. Let us not get into the psychological aspect. So point here is that if I look at myself as the material cause or this cause of the universe, not mere efficient cause, then what happens? I am not intolerant. I accept, I in fact accommodate anything and everything. So in this background, let us look at the next verse. तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दुरे तदन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः. So in fact, we can take also differently. तदेजति तन्नेजति तद्दुरे तदन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्य बाह्यतः. This verse number 5, also 6, will say, moment if you look at translation without understanding the background, you will see some type of illogical statement, because it says what? that tat ejati iti. So if you look at tat ejati, that, so what is that? That is the discussion here is Atma iti. So that Atma, or you can say Brahman here as Atma, better. That Brahman, so Atma cannot be Tat Brahma, which is called Atma. Ejoti iti, moves. Then the next statement would be Tat na ejati. And again, the same Atma, na ejati, does not move. Can you see the contradiction? Just now we said it moves. Now next line, at least you can say after 2, 3 lines, so that people memory is very less, okay? So you cannot contradict just like that. So it doesn't give space, okay? If towards end says, okay, ejati, no ejati, we can understand. Not only that, again he says, tad, very nicely, tat dure. So tat dure means now that which is far away. At the same time, says that antike iti. Antike means very near. How is it possible? Something is far away against that thing is very near. And not only that, he says, look, sarvasya antarasya iti. So when he said that sarvasya antarasya asti, so that Brahman, which is within all beings, and tatu asya sarvasya vahyata api asti. In fact, that indeed is outside all this. So that is within, again outside. It's all are contradicting. Also, next verse also will be seen. Don't worry. Now, when you look at this, you feel, oh. So that's why here we need the help of methodology of teaching. Because, Atma cannot be explained directly. That's why we use different type of methodology of teaching to explain the Atma. What we call prakriya, whether it's neti prakriya, noiti. Because we try to use different methodology to arrive at why. Because if Atma is explained or can be explained directly, so that means what? It is object of experience or explanation. So what we call as prameya vastu. So it becomes prameya. That is to be, what you call, known through means. But if it is a prameya, then becomes its object. But Atma is aprameyam. So being aprameyam, that it is not object of, not to be known, okay? It is not object of any means of knowledge that we have at our disposal. So when this is me, the subject, not the object, so that concept is being very carefully put to understand this. That's why this aparoksha jnanam is most important. And aparoksha jnanam can happen when you have pramana buddhi. Without accepting Shastra as a pramana means of knowledge. If you look at your mind, through the mind, I can understand. Through meditation, I can understand. Through analysis, I can understand. Through karma, I can understand. Or nothing to do, just close the eyes. Also, I'll be able to understand or see myself. Remember, Atma cannot be understood. because it is not prameya vastu iti. And to make understand, he uses the Veda very carefully uses that Atma ejati. So how does it ejati? Moves. So he uses this word we call as, that chidvasa and bimba. So all the terminology we have used long back, okay? So you can say consciousness in English, reflected consciousness, that you can understand easily, okay? Like in common parlance, not in reality. The original sun does not move in common way, okay? In reality, it moves. That's right. So in common way, the sun does not move. Whereas the reflection of sun that is in water, it keeps moving. Another example we see also sun starts moving in the, through the, not in the, through the clouds. So what is the reality? Does the sun move or cloud moves? And also sometimes, you might have noticed this thing those days in the bus, train, and all these things we have noticed nowadays in the flight also. You can observe the same point. Suppose you have been going in a bus for a long time, traveling. The bus is being parked in a parking place. So your vehicle, remember, is parked. Whereas slowly other vehicle, other bus starts moving slowly. What you will feel? You will feel your vehicle starts moving. Have you not observed this? Same thing also in the flight. Same thing happens. So suddenly you discover, but your flight is just, ducking in inside. Now what happens? Now other flights moves. Hey, hey, what is happening again? So coming back to the point, how it moves, we call it moves as though. So in reality, it does not move. The reflected consciousness moves, but not the consciousness. The reflected sun moves, not the sun. So pratibhasa, or you can say pratibimba, chidbhasa, we use the word chidbhasa. Chit doesn't move, chidbhasa keeps moving. So the first line he says that tat ejati iti. So chidbhasa rupena eva ejati. It is only in the form of reflected consciousness in this body mind complex or in any beings, sentient, insentient. It moves. So that moving is as though. Because we are looking at that aspect only, nothing else. Then he says, at the same time, no ejati. From chit rupena, if you look at from the standpoint of the chit, it does not move at all. Where to move? Because the movement can take place where there is limitation. And limited object can move. So that's why to move, you need to cover distance. So you should be available in one place and not available in other place. Then only you can move. Whereas when you are available everywhere, how can you move? That's why we say air moves, but not space. Air moves because air has its own limitation. That's why, thank God, this low pressure and other thing happens. And here he says that not only that, tad dure tad antike iti. Now tad dure, it is far away. For whom? The one who looks for Atma, searches for Atma. I have been doing meditation for years together. Now I am not able to see myself. I am doing rituals for 100 years, but I am not able to understand. I am doing this, I am doing that, not able to understand. Sometimes I feel I am getting lost. So, this process of losing one's own self is making one's own self being away from one's own self. So, that is what is being highlighted as that duram. It is far up because it is exactly like we have beautiful examples. Kasturi mruga iti. The mruga means the deer has got this moss. So, in fact, that is within the body. And poor deer, when it starts breathing, now through breathing, now that fragrance that is in the body comes out. But poor deer thinks it is somewhere outside and starts running, running, and running. Finally, that deer dies, thinking that that kasturi is somewhere outside, and that too far away. Same thing also me. So me looking for myself. I was looking at somebody's poem that, especially if you observe in any sense of loss, even if a person dies, passes away, people cry. Do you really cry for the person? In fact, you look yourself in that person. You don't look at the absence of person. It's an amazing point to observe. Suppose, let us say, your someone dies. So when, let us say, your father dies, mother dies, anybody, very nearer, dearer one dies. Now, do you look for your father? Really? Do you really look for your mother? You look for you as a child missing in your father. So always you look yourself there. You don't look for anybody. So in every people, in every object, in every situation, you only look for yourself. That's why we say human beings are most, selfish. They always look for one's own self. And when you are looking for yourself, not able to find yourselves, then you pretend what to do, what not to do, you know better. So that's why he says, Tadure. And this dura, the distance that is created by you. And because the distance is being created by you, it is you who has to address this distance. I remember in our childhood, we were taught through the stories, but without explaining the meaning behind it. Like the story goes like this. There was a sadhu who was worshipping Lord Vishnu, and he wanted to see Vishnu many years. And one young boy used to come and do a lot of mischief, as usual, like how Hanuman and other things we have seen in childhood. Narada was passing by. So Narada thought, what is happening? Let me see. So this sadhu was very happy to, serve Narada and asked, look, all the time you are meeting Lord Vishnu. I have been doing worshipping so many years. Will you please find out when I will have darshan of Lord Vishnu? Just I want to see him. Okay. Narada said, definitely I'll ask. So during that time, this young boy said, look, I also want to know when I will see him. This Ajay, you are mischievous, always making mess. How can you see anything? Okay, Narad said, okay, fine. Narad goes. After 1 year, comes back. For Narada, just one fraction, but each 1 year passed. Okay. So after 1 year, when Narada came back, this sadhu asked, so did you convey, and what did Lord Vishnu say? Narada said, yes, I conveyed. Say, look, in fact, you have 2 more lives to see me. Now he was so disappointed. 2 more lives again, I have to. Then that time this young boy said, what about me? Did you also ask about me? Narada said, yes. Because he had to manage the situation, okay? Okay, yes, yes. What did he say? Will I be able to see or not? Yes. How long will it take? Now, as many, look at this tree, as many leaves are there in this tree, that many lives means impossible. And that time, this boy said, oh, is it so? Now, what did he do? He climbed up the tree and started shaking the tree in such a way, all the leaves fell down. So there was no leaf. And asked, hey, look, tell your God of Vishnu, now there is no leaf. Now what is my situation? Where do I stand? Now they said, definitely, you'll be seeing this life itself. There is no postponement for you. This is called that seemingly distance that is created by you has to be resolved by. If there is a real distance between you and God, you and Atma, what you think yourself and Atma, then yes, there are a lot of things to do. Whereas when there is ignorance, because of ignorance, you think it is far away. You need to just remove the ignorance. In fact, that is there. It is exactly like we do this, habitually, all of you, many times, specs using and keeping the specs here. And searching, being the owner of the specs. Now, I want to be the owner of specs. Now I start looking, searching for specs everywhere. Where is my? And suddenly somebody say, hey, what are you talking? Your specs is not far away. And some people who are doing it, they do. This is the beautiful way of doing it. The story, many story was related to this. So you start searching specs. Where is convenient? Where is light? Like one story goes, popular story, that so there was a sadhu. He was asked that how to understand myself, where to find. The sadhu said, look, finding oneself is not that easy. But at the same time, it is very easy. This is called confusing statement. It depends upon where you search and how you search. Then the person said, I don't understand. Sadhu said, look, already I am old. Actually, I was stitching something. The needle I lost. Will you please search? Now, where did you lose? No, come and search with him first. Where? So outside there was a road. Light was there. They started searching. So look, street light, under that they started searching. After 1 hour, this person said, where did you lose? We have searched every bit. We didn't find needle. Where did you lose? The sadhu said, actually, I lost in the cottage inside. Then if you have lost inside the cottage, why did you search, make me to search outside? Because inside the cottage there was no light. Difficult to search. Here I saw there is light, so we can search. And the person said, I think you have gone mad. The sadhu said, this is what I wanted to teach you. How you search yourself? Whatever is convenient. The method that you adapt. That's why there are 4 yogas for intellectuals, for emotionals. So that means what? You adopt that method which is convenient. And when you adopt the method that is convenient to you, will it be possible? Because you are strengthening yourself. In fact, you are creating a more distance between you and yourself. Chit and Chidvasa, you can. That's why here it says, Tad dure, tad antike. It is very near. In fact, it is indeed you. There is no distance at all. And at the same time, he says, look, sarvasya, tat sarvasya antarasya asti iti. So, chit rupena, in the form of consciousness, satta rupena, because of the existence, giving existence to itself, to everything, that is everywhere. In fact, because of whose presence everything exists. And at the same time, says that tat u asya sarvasya vahyata api asti. At the same time, what happens? That alone is also outside all this. So it depends upon how you look at. So what is your approach? Continuing. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmannevānupashyate sarvabhuteshu chātmānam tato na bijugupshate. Look, this is what the result of Atmavidya. This verse highlights. We have seen that in Tattvabodha, especially Aghata Nibruti, 5 benefits of Jnanam. So there we discussed Aghata Nibruti, one aspect. So that aspect here is being put very nicely, you can say. From this concept, we put it there differently. Here it says, look, tataha sa na bijugupshate. Therefore, tataha, therefore. Now, what he says, saha. And who is that saha? The one who sees will see before. That the one who is atmani eva anupashyati sarvani bhutani sarvabhutesu. And that person, what happens? Na bijugupsate. That means what? Does not feel insecure. Does not hate. So instead of hating, developing aversion, better to use that does not feel insecurity. How this happens? Let us look at this. So he uses this word, yah, one who, atmani eva sarvani bhutani anupashyati. So he who sees all beings in the self alone. But generally, what we do, when I am insecure, I separate. In fact, my separation is the cause of my insecurity. We go one step ahead. Narrowing me down makes me insecure. Now I remember this fellow, okay? The specs. So coming to the point, the more I have narrow thinking, the more I have insecurity. Insecurity has nothing to do with what I have, what I don't have. But insecurity has something to do with uncertainty, or you can say lack of self-confidence in me, myself, which leads to uncertainty of future, especially near future, and sometimes so-called future. What will happen to me after 5 years? Let the 5 year come, okay? What will happen to my grandchildren? Just one small example I would like to say, very nice, funny thing. Recently, some raid took place in Odisha. So the fellow was being, as usual, media fellows, you know how they are. They got hold of me, take some, bites. And he used word, he should not have said this. I am a beggar. I don't have anything. Officers have come, they are doing their job, let them do. They will find nothing. Basically, I am a beggar. Because now that is playing left and right. And from that beggar house, finally, they got 76,000 cash, euro, 76,000 euro. Okay. So nicely he said, I am just a beggar. Okay. And poor fellow was supposed to be, retired very soon. And it's not a big officer. Okay. Just so happens to be executive magistrate. Now, if you observe what made that person to do, just one example, say I'm talking nothing else. I am not critical of the person. What will happen to my future? After retirement, will I be able to survive or not with my pension or whatever? Or without pension? Nowadays, most of them without pension also. Now, when this sort of thing happens, now there is a big issue. So why happens? Because of lack of confidence. So more you lose the confidence in yourself. I think we have crossed the time. Eh? Oh, the more you are insecure, because I'm not able to see the clock. That's why problem is here. I think we'll discuss tomorrow. Sorry. Om Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all of you.